Hi, I'm about to do another private makeup class. This month's going to be on this palette right here, but basically I'm just having people bring their palette and just kind of walk them step by step on kind of the techniques that I use to get kind of a multi-dimensional look, what brushes I use, what products I use. And most of the products, as you know, are from the drugstore, so I like that. Got my glass of sweet tea. Now I'm just getting my getting all my things situated. Got all my tools. Somebody gifted me this, which is their Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. Silicone free, alcohol free, and oil free. I love to use primers for setting sprays for primers. It's so good. And it's coconut infused. I love coconut. So my other coconut product I have is this one from Wet n Wild, one of my favorite brands. It smells delicious. And then my other one that I like is ColourPop, and it has hyaluronic acid in it, skin plumping. So just getting ready to do that. The first thing I do is I like to prime with setting spray, primer spray, whatever. Just gives your makeup something tacky to stick on. And I got this sponge. I really like it from Rite Aid.
Oh, with the flatness. I feel like it'll be easier for me to use the flatness.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, I'm like having it over here. It's kind of velvety too. So it doesn't absorb into your sponge like other ones do.
Does the spray have an odor to it?
This one does. It's coconut, but they have ones that have no smell whatsoever.
Because I can't do, and I've never used a setting spray ever, but I can't do anything with
scent.
Scents.
Well, they have, I think Milani has one that is scentless, but I'll do some research and see if I can find one. I prefer a setting spray to a primer because I feel like the primer makes my foundation and stuff shift. Yeah. And so I just really like, and I spray this on multiple times, and I feel like it really sets my makeup in, and I can be into like in Oklahoma in 100-degree weather and still have my makeup looking good. So setting spray is definitely a hidden secret. So once we've done that, I take, this is L'Oreal concealer. A lot of people will use eye primer. I prefer just to use regular concealer. So I put it everywhere.
Why do you prefer concealer versus eye primer? Because I've been using eye primer.
Some eye primers have a color and some don't. This one conceals, so I know when I put my eyeshadow on, it gives it a very smooth palette. Okay. So that's, but if you have an eye primer that you like, go ahead and stick with that.
Okay, it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can still use it. I just prefer concealer, but I'll use eye primers too. But I feel like you're already most of the time using concealer, so why not cut out the extra step? So once I have that on there, then I take and just kind of press it into the skin again, and that gives it a chance to really set into the setting spray. So you're really, what you're doing is you're wanting to really press it into the skin. And then you take your setting powder, and this is just Revlon. This one's like $10. You can buy, e.l.f. has a really good one that's under, but this is what really helps your your foundation or makeup stay and your eyeshadow blend better. So you're gonna just kind of set it all in here. And this is only whenever I have a different way of doing it, but when I'm really wanting to do a really pretty eyeshadow, this is. So you're basically setting your eye primer and setting your concealer. So now we're gonna start with our first color. And you can let this bake and go on and do other things. So I'm gonna take the fluffiest brush that I have, which is going to be the biggest one. And then I'm gonna take the lightest shade in my palette and just go back and forth, right on that brow bone. And all that's doing is just adding dimension so that when we layer on our colors, you can't tell where one started and one ended. It's just kind of, and you just keep adding them and keep adding them. So now we're gonna add the other side. And the fluffy brush, you can't tell that there's a lot of color on there, and that's what you want. You don't really want to be able to see all of the color right away.
You go back and forth way more than I do. So when they talk about blending, I realize I'm really not.
Yeah, blending is my cardio.
Where is your mug?
I know, I need that. Somebody needs to get that for me.
Totally.
And you know, there's a lot of times that I do that, and then I might take a little shimmer and put it right here and call it good. That's an eye look. But we're just gonna keep kind of building on it. So now we're going to go to the next kind of, we're just going from a transition into darker. So now we're going into this color, which is called Clove. And we're gonna take the same brush and we're just gonna go kind of slightly under it. And then they have this other cool thing at Rite Aid. What did I do with it? It's called a color swapper. And you can just, if you're wanting to get some of that color off there and kind of make it like a new brush, you can do that. And so, or I'll have a brush that is only for blending. So I'll put that one to the side. So we've done our two colors. Now we're gonna go a little bit deeper, but we're gonna change the size of our brush. So we're gonna go a little bit in. Oh, that was the one we just used. Sorry, this one. So I don't know if you can tell the difference between. It's very, very minute, but it makes a difference. So now we're gonna go into a little bit deeper, and we're gonna go just right on the edge. And I'm not bringing it all the way in. And then you're kind of doing like a V, just right here.
Okay, good. I've been doing that wrong. Okay, good. Let him hear.
And what that does is that it kind of creates, you know, the dark parts right here instead of bringing them all in, to where as we age, our eyes get hooded. And so we've got that little flap of skin. You don't want to have a lot of dark colors there. So like these colors, these two right here, you can bring them across all day long. No big deal. When you get to a darker color, that's where you're going to want to not take it in too far. And if it doesn't look blended, we're going to take our trusty blender and get to it. And as long as you make this side match this side, that's makeup. No matter how you did it or how you got to it, as long as they, and I learned that in barber college. Whatever you do to one side of the head, you do to the other side, that's a haircut. Now you can even do asymmetrical, and hey, do you. So yeah, I'm gonna take that little, just right in the bottom, doing the little V to Oregon.
Oh. And you haven't been.
And I thought because she had a cool name for her son.
Yeah, we just instantly became friends.
You know you're good people when you choose the best name for your children.
Right.
Yep. Oh wait.
So now there's a term that I use a lot of times, and I call it blowing out. So we're gonna take this darker color with our blending brush, and that's where we're just kind of gonna go ham with the blending. And sometimes I'll use an even bigger one like this to really get in there and start blending. And that's what gives that kind of monochromatic look. Because you've laid the base with the transition colors. Using the two lighter colors, when you put that darker one on there, it helps blend those together.
And you always say if you use too much on one side, just keep blending.
Yes. And then, so we've blended it out pretty good. You just kind of want to make sure that, you know, when you look at it, does it kind of match? And if it doesn't, you can add just a little bit more. So like that side was a little bit darker, so I blended it too much. But just going in there, and then you can still kind of drag it in a little bit. Once there's nothing left on your brush, that's when you want to bring it in. And whatever color, the darker color, I'll usually bring under the eye as well. So I'll take like a flat top brush and just kind of connect it.
Liner on the bottom closes down eyes.
No, because whenever if you feel like it does, just don't bring it all the way in.
Okay.
Or just use a lighter. I feel like it brings more attention to the eyes, and then you use the lighter colors in here.
Oh, that's right, the lighter colors, yeah.
But to each their own. So now we're gonna go in with a more vibrant color with a smaller brush. So I'm gonna take this, either this one or this one, I can't decide. I'll do this rose color. And then we're just gonna kind of layer on top.
What palette are you using?
This is the Ace Beaute palette. Oops. They have really, you can get it online, and it's really affordable, and it's really good shadow. So you don't have to worry about, you're not spending 50 bucks. It's like 34, but the colors are beautiful. So we're just kind of deepening that color up. This one is the more vibrant. And we're just actually kind of going over where we put that darker one in.
Yeah.
And still just kind of still doing that V or check mark or however. And then we'll take our fluffy brush and blend it. You start right here first and then bring it over. I don't know how well that's looking from your angle to my angle. And so we're gonna go in with this orange color, and we're just gonna go over the top parts. And that's just really gonna blend it even better.
So do you always recommend doing your makeup with like a palette? That way you have all these different colors to choose from?
Yeah, because they're all within the same family. So you really can't,
Yeah, complementary.
yeah, they all complement each other. So you can't go wrong. So all we're doing is just diffusing that dark line with over that top one. So you can't really tell where one ended and one began. So if you ever just want to kind of try something, just go in with a darker color, and then whatever is a couple of shades lighter, go over top of it, and it will seamlessly blend it. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking that color that we used at the beginning and just going over top. I've seen a lot of makeup artists do that. I'm like, how are they blending that? And then we're almost done. You're gonna take whatever kind of shimmery color and take, if you hear me use the term flat top, it's one of these, it's very flat, very, very stiff. You're gonna spray it with some setting spray.
Oh, I haven't been doing that.
Well, and this is just gonna get it a little bit wet. You can use water. Sometimes it's not always the most sanitary, but whatever.
COVID, what?
Yeah, it's my palette.
Your palette, your mouth.
And then you're just gonna go right in here on the lid, and then that's gonna help just brighten it up. It's kind of like a cut crease, but not really, because we're not. But when you get that shadow, and you have to make sure that the shadow works well when getting wet. Some don't even need it to be wet, so just check before you. And then sometimes you can just use your good old finger.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, and you actually sometimes get more payoff. See, I did that with my finger, because these shadows are actually very pigmented. And this is a good way to kind of brighten up your eye. And then you can just kind of tap it just around the edges. And it's hard to tell on here, but it is very, very bright. But you can always scale this down to what you're comfortable with. So if you're like, hey, I want to try that, but I don't want to use 3 or 4 colors, start with, one of these. Just put it all over the brow bone. And then just pick one dark color and just put it right in that area. And then take your fluffy brush, go to town. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then if you want to add just a little bit more, take your shadow and put it right here. And then sometimes I'll even put it right here just to give because once you put, sometimes this is better to do with your brush. You can, that's what kind of draws people's eyes to the center of your face and makes things look more bright. And you can do a wing, you can do no wings, you can do false lashes, and I'm just gonna do mascara. And then I will take one of my brushes and just kind of blend that in, just teensy weensy bit.
You have great lighting.
I'm actually right in front of a window, and then I have my my ring light right here. So I'm hoping that it is good lighting. Oh, and then one very, very important step, my Wet n Wild brow pencil. I like to save my brows for the very last because sometimes your eyeshadows get into your brows. So that's why you'll see me do it last.
Smart, I always do it first.
Yeah.
I don't do it at all.
Oh, there you
We
go.
need to get you some brow gel. Brow gel.
My brows have never been touched.
Then you need to let me get my hands on them. Because
Your hands on me and it was great.
because brow gel, and you can get a very, very this pencil right here is $3, but brows really add to your face. And if you're not going to do anything, I say brow gel and mascara are your two.
I do
Mascara, then you
brows
need,
are just-
it's mascara for your brows.
Yeah, I've just never done anything. I've never done anything. I don't wax them, pluck them, nothing.
Well,
Oh, natural.
yeah. Hey, do what you what you feel comfortable doing. But if you ever want to, dip your toe
I've
in.
never heard of brow gel.
Yeah, brow gel looks like
She got me onto brow gel. I'd never done anything with my brows either. She got me onto brow gel, and now I'm like obsessed.
so brow gel is really cool because it can actually make your eyebrows look fuller and thicker. And it just kind of tames them down. So I don't know if you can tell much difference between this brow and that brow, but it just kind of tames them down and adds more
That's
definition.
when everybody said, oh, when COVID-19's, and they can get back to their beauticians and they've got all these eyebrows. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll look the same. I don't do anything, so.
That's okay. You know what? I watch a ton of YouTube makeup, and that's kind of how I've learned. I didn't learn this in barber college. We just did hair. But it's very therapeutic to watch somebody. It's just relaxing just to watch somebody do makeup. And so, I learned by watching too. So I would just watch video after video after video, and then I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And that's just kind of how and then they would recommend products that I could get at the drugstore. Like, you can get this at Rite Aid. You can get this at Freddy's, at Logan's. That's what I wanted. I don't need somebody to sell me makeup, and I don't want to sell makeup. I want you to use what you have and what you could go right now and go grab. So there we are with our eyebrows. And then we went this far, might as well, got my favorite. Now, some of the drugstores, they're not as clean makeup. So, I do feel, in Oregon, I hear a lot of that. But there are clean lines that I do like. But performance-wise, you can't outperform Wet n Wild.
Can never outperform Wet n Wild.
And you can't mess with the coverage. I mean, in the price.
So you do your eyes before your foundation?
I actually don't.
Okay. So I'm like, I've always been doing that in reverse.
I can't wait to jeez.
No, I actually don't. For time wise, what I do first is I'll spray my primer, I put my foundation, I do my concealer, then I do everything else.
Okay.
Because who has that kind of time? I don't. I don't either.
What? You're not just like luxuriating in the morning with time?
Yeah. Yeah, I just have all the time in the world I wish. And then I'm going to use a little bit. I got my Wet n Wild bronzer. I mean, I should be a spokesperson for Wet n Wild. So we're just going to bronze a little bit, add a little color. And then this is when,
Bronzing has been changing my life.
what?
Correct bronzing has been changing my life.
I've never done it.
She'll
No.
get hooked.
Bronzer is amazing. It just creates dimensions and it gives your face like a sun-kissed, you know, a sun-kissed look. And then we're gonna spray one more time. And while I got my, Milani is another brand that I like. While it's wet, I'm going to put my highlighter on. And it just kind of brings your face. I love a shiny nose. And then sometimes I'll even put it over here. But just get one that, you know, is kind of close to your skin tone. Like probably for you guys, this little champagne one. This one is too light and I just look very icy. But this one just kind of gives me a, you know, a natural glow. Taking your bronzer like here too to like accentuate your collarbones.
Oh.
And then you can also take your highlighter and do your shoulders, do your neck. So you're just looking bronzed.
I'll go back to work and they'll be like, who are you?
COVID did
What?
you right, girl.
Yeah. You're like, I've learned a couple of things.
Because usually I don't wear makeup at work because I have to get up earlier.
Yep. That makes sense.
Well, next time we go to a lunch or a dinner, I'm gonna expect full glam.
Woo, woo, woo! I'm gonna want her to take a picture so I can see your new eyebrows.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We'll do like a selfie.
Yep. I'll be like, oh, look at Darlene's new gel eyebrows. Look at that.
It's like she went to one of Tony. It's like I'm a coach for makeup. I'm a makeup coach.
Absolutely.
She's my makeup coach.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good one.
And that's why I decided to do the YouTube thing because, you know, if I get it up and monetized, I just get paid for the, you know, for people watching my videos instead of having to charge, you know, per visit. Even though the visits are very helpful, you know, there's just something about one-on-one that you can't, you know, because I did that with Rochelle. I went to her house, I went through all of her makeup and just took an inventory and I had her do her makeup just with me assisting.
Yep.
And
my inventory would be very easy.
Well, then I would be.
Here's my concealer. Here's my foundation. Here's my blush. Here's my eyeshadow. I have 2 of those.
And I would probably be coming to your house with some stuff.
Part.
I know.
This mascara has like changed my game too. I was not doing it right.
Yeah, the mascara is, you know, it'll make or break your look.
100%.
I'm trying this. I got this in my Ipsy bag and it's not bad. It has this tiny, tiny brush, but
yeah.
Now we're gonna add a little blush.
Anyway, I research and research, you know, which one's best, and then suddenly it's like, oh, maybe this one's better, and it's a mess in here, so I'm not sure.
We will judge. That's not what we do.
Oh no, you haven't seen this room. It looks almost like